Half-Life
right.
1 was
What was the Half-Life
um
game?
what was it called?
Now we're both
It was
looking it up.
like Cold Source, I guess.
Cold.
Cold SRC.
Yep.
And it was like it says, it's a heavily modified version of the Quake engine.
Right,
And
yep.
Quake, and there are some other games that I like that also use the Quake engine, such as American McGee's Alice, which is like a game, an old game that also uses the Quake engine. And Quake 2 is one of the earliest games that I remember playing myself. And thanks to that, I also like started, reading the Wikipedia article about it. And, I also tried out Quake 2 once again. And a lot of the things like related to that gave me a lot of inspiration to make my own game and stuff like that as well. So just by playing Half-Life 1 instead of League, it already went to the point where I almost started making my own game. Well, I did start doing game development, but I game development is one of those things that I really want to do, but it's so time consuming and such a big endeavor that I still haven't like settled on some big project that I'd be making, because I already know it's going to take like thousands of hours if I do that, and
Yeah,
I don't have the time right now. Maybe in 3 years or something I can, but not right now.
I have a bit of experience doing mobile game dev, just some little
Oh,
indie stuff, but
interesting.
yeah, it's game dev is one of those things that is purely passion driven. If you are not passionate about making a game, you are not making a game. Like, you can be a code monkey at a big company, that can work.
Yeah.
But if you want to do something yourself, you need to love the art, because
Yep.
there is so much. You said it right. Like, there is so much time you need to put into a game, and it's just like with any other sort of art, like whether it's music, whether it's drawing, whether it's anything else, you can spend a near infinite amount of time working on a single project if you really want to.
Yeah.
That
Pretty much.
I, the other thing you have, there has to be a point where you realize that it's done, but it's hard to realize when something's done when you know you can make it better.
Yeah. You have to decide like, well, it's kind of interesting in a way, because like there's this other game that I discovered through immersion. Once again, learning Japanese. Like a lot of things I'm discovering through learning Japanese actually. Which is, what was it called? It's the same. It was the by the same creator who made the Stanley's Parable.
Um,
Uh,
I didn't know you made other games.
uh, what was it called? Let me
Um,
see. It was the Beginner's Guide.
oh
So I'm not sure if you heard about it.
no, I've definitely heard of it.
Okay, yeah, I watched like a let's play of it basically in Japanese, and it's basically like one of the things. What I wanted to mention is that the quote unquote okay, the game has like a lot of unfinished game projects in it, basically, that the narrator basically showcases to you.
Yep.
And one of the things that he discussed was that the games that were showcased, that they were never uh, meant to be shown to others. Basically, they were made for the creator's own satisfaction. Basically, like just like, imagine drawing a picture just for yourself. Like you're not going to be showing it to anyone. And one of the things they discussed were like, should games be made for others, or like the narrator said that games should be made for others, and you should share it with others. But the quote unquote creator of the game, it's kind of hard to creator of the game inside the game basically said that no, he's not going to do that. And well, so my point is basically just that, I mean, you don't have to release a game. You can just work for it forever and just make it for yourself. I mean, that's totally fine as well. But if you want to make a project that you want to release to the world, then yeah, you have to decide some kind of a stopping point. I mean, you can always Okay, I guess a single player game you should probably release when it's done.
Hmm.
But if it comes to a multiplayer game, you can always just um, keep making updates for it. Or if it's something like Minecraft.
Hmm.
But the thing about games is that, well, this is about everything, I suppose. But especially with games, is that, like you said, it's really passion driven in the sense that I made a video about game development as well, which basically talked about why I find it difficult in the
Hmm.
sense that if you make a game, you may spend over 3,000 hours on it or something, or even more. And it's highly likely that you won't sell a single copy of it, or that you won't get anyone to even play it seriously. And so if you're not passionate about the project itself in the sense that you just wanted to bring something to life, then you're going to be probably extremely disappointed with the fact that you spent so much time, so much effort, so much energy on making this project, this game, and you literally got zero reward for it.
Hmm.
And a lot of people start realizing that halfway through the project. They're like 1,500 hours in, and then suddenly they're like, oh, okay, this game kind of sucks. Most likely nobody will want to play it. It's kind of boring, and I've spent so much time on it already. And then they start getting burnt out. They
Mm.
got and a lot of games have probably have thousands of hours spent on them, but never released, basically because it's you still have to spend a lot of time on it. So they just quit instead of quote unquote wasting that time to finish it.
The reason why I brought up spending basically a near infinite amount of time on a single project is there comes a point where you're not like if what you're doing is trying to express yourself through the games or trying to learn new things about programming, learn new things about game design, once you've got something to a like that 98% complete point, at
Yeah,
that point you're basically just doing optimizations and sort of improving the way the game plays. You're not really experiencing these new fundamental things you might want to make. Like if you get this project mostly done, like let's say you're not planning to release your games, you just get the game mostly done, and then you're like, hey,
yeah,
I want to try out making a racing game now. I want to try out making a puzzle game. Let's try out making a platformer. You can sort of, if you don't spend all this time trying to perfect a game that you're never going to release, you can certainly try out a lot more things. Like this is the same point you'll bring up about
yeah.
League. Like you could just keep playing more and more League, or you could try out other games. Like there are other things out there. Maybe it's worth giving those a shot as well.
Yeah, definitely. Like, uh, in terms of projects, I have experience of working on a project for thousands of hours, like a coding project. I'm
Yeah.
not going to talk about it, but it's basically the the saying I like, which is that the 99%, the last 1% is the 99% in terms of like time investment. It's
Yep.
really true when it comes to any project. And I also have some other projects before that I worked on at least 100 hours or something, like a web development
Hmm.
project. And at one point, uh, I made it with another person together, and that other person like got demotivated and kind of stopped working on it.
Yep.
And then eventually I stopped working on it as well because of that. But now I'm like, when I look back at it, it's like I'm kind of glad I didn't continue because that project was never going to go anywhere anyway.
Hmm.
So if I never stopped on it, I might as well have spent the same like thousands of hours on fleshing it out and stuff, and then just getting no reward for it basically. If I never, but if I stopped like I did, then I discovered other projects and things I could work on. But
Mm.
who knows? Maybe it would have became a success or something. Who knows?